All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mahmoud Boutam from Sprout Digital, coming to you today from New Bremen, Ohio. Welcome to Business Shenanigans. I am joined today by Trent and Rick.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going?
Oh,
It is
wonderful.
crazy windy here. like, like I feel like I'm in the eye of a hurricane right now. It's just crazy.
In Metamora,
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, Metamora on the weekends and Indianapolis through the week. We
Gotcha.
have dual citizenship.
Dual citizenship. How far are they apart?
Right at an hour and a half. It's only like 63 miles, but it's 63 of these miles. So there's no good way to get down there quickly.
Right. Trent, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing well, getting over a cold, but I'm here. Yeah,
Good.
and I feel you on the hour and a half, Rick. If I want to go anywhere of substance, whether it be Columbus or Cincinnati or Indianapolis, it's an hour and a half drive. So
Right. So yeah, and you got interstate to all those, I think, probably once you get out of Greenville.
Yeah, there's about a 25-minute trek to on 49, which is just nothingness for 25 minutes. It feels like an hour. That part of the trip feels like an hour.
Right.
And the rest just the interstate part breezes by.
You all know that I'm kind of a foodie. Trent lives in Greenville, Ohio, which has one of the original Made Right restaurants. If you're not familiar with Made Right, they are loose meat hamburger sandwiches. They're amazing.
You've had them, Rick?
Oh my gosh, yes. That was a regular trek for us when I lived in Muncie.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
You need
Muncie
to
is still like 45 minutes away from Greenville, right?
Yep, that's right.
I can't believe you Made Rights has made it's like people know Made Right all the way in Indiana. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, all over the Midwest, people drive from Cleveland and Detroit and
That's crazy.
all kinds of places for Made. There's like a Made Right fan club on Facebook.
That's awesome.
See, you need to get to Greenville on a Thursday because Mahmoud's usually in Greenville on Thursdays, and we'll take you out for some Made
You
Rights.
can do some damage. Yeah, I usually go for 3+ I never get less than 3 Made Rights.
We'll make that happen. That sounds like a fun Thursday road trip.
Yeah, bring your game face if you're ever gonna come do Made Rights with me, because I don't mess around.
All right, gentlemen, I want to talk today about Christmas movies. There are some great ones. There are even more awful ones. Off the top of your head, whether it's by choice or whether a significant other made you sit through it, worst Christmas movie you've ever seen. Let's start hot.
Oh my gosh.
Worst Christmas movie. I don't have a worst Christmas movie, but I do have annoying Christmas movies that I've watched a few times. Maybe I watched 10 or 12 times, but I'm kind of like done. I won't if they're on, like I won't go along with, like Home Alone. Like I can't do Home Alone.
Wow.
I can't.
That's a hot take if I ever heard one.
I can't do Home Alone because it's like a Road Runner type situation. You know?
I'll give you that on like 2 through 50, but 1 is a classic.
I'm a Joe Pesci fan. I want Joe Pesci to win, okay? And he never wins in that movie. Just once, get that kid, that pesky kid, and get him good. But they did not.
How crazy is it that they got Joe Pesci to do that movie?
Right? And he pulled it off amazingly.
He was fantastic. He was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, he's amazing. But it's just when you go through those Home Alone movies, even the really new ones. Did you see the really new ones?
No.
With like a completely different kid and completely different parents. Like they're really sticking to that plot where the kid is winning throughout the whole movie, and the bad guys are just getting beat the hell out of them. They're just getting the crap beat out of them. My favorite ever. Let's finish with the worst first, and then we'll move on to the best. I don't have a worst, but the Home Alone movies annoy me. That's all
I agree with that. And the fact that you said it's kind of a Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote 90-minute Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner episode just clicked in my brain. Oh my gosh, that always setting the traps.
Yeah.
I expected to see the Acme Dynamite come down by parachute.
The Acme box. Yeah. Yeah. Wile E. Coyote can buy all that stuff, but he can't buy a Made Right.
This really isn't a Christmas movie, but I gotta say, the Star Wars Christmas special. Have you guys seen that?
I have not.
Oh
That
my
is
God.
the worst thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I watched it in college, and it was the worst thing. I thought I was on drugs when I watched it. I was like, did someone slip something into my cup today? Because this is a weird show. Like, especially the Chewbacca scenes where he's just sitting there like, it's the way, like with his family and stuff, and they're all talking in the same thing, the same language. Man, that was rough to watch.
I missed the boat on that. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Or
you
heard
need
of
to
it.
go look that up. It is, some movies are so bad that they're good. This one is just horrible. It's just, there is no redeeming quality in this movie at all. It's I guess that came out at the height of the Star Wars craze when everybody, merch was selling like crazy and everybody was waiting for the next movie. But it's just, I don't know how it didn't destroy the entire franchise.
Well, speaking of destroying things, Netflix put out in 2017, they put out a movie targeted for females. I mean, obviously, it was just one of those things where we know our target audience. We're going to make our own Lifetime movie. So they put out this movie called A Christmas Prince. And then they started noticing, I mean, awful movie. And they started noticing that too many people were watching it every day. And so they put out this presser. I guess 53 viewers watched it every single day for 2 weeks. And like they actually reached out and they're like, "Are you all okay?" Like,
oh my God. So is anybody of substance in that movie? Does it have anybody we would recognize?
I don't think so. This is meant to be a Netflix Lifetime movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's, I mean, A Christmas Prince. I mean, you can imagine how bad this movie is.
Christmas Prince.
But if I'm going to give mine, I mean, I couldn't make it all the way through that one, so I'm not going to say it's my worst. But I will tell you, there's a movie I absolutely grew out of. And my wife and I have a lot of shared interests, but this is not one of them. And that is Ernest Saves Christmas. I can't stand that movie anymore.
He had a series of like 12 movies, like all Ernest movies, right? Ernest Goes to School, the Christmas
Ernest
one,
Scares
the
Stupid,
Thanksgiving.
Ernest Goes to Jail. Yeah.
I remember those. I have not seen those movies in a while though.
I'm significantly older than you guys. Were you guys teenagers when those came out?
Younger than that, I think.
I was probably 11 or 10 or something.
Okay, so I tried to watch a few of those movies, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
When you're 7, 8, 9, they're kind of funny.
Oh, I'm sure it certainly is. That's the audience that it's aimed to. Mom and dad bring the kids to the theater and drop them off for an Ernest marathon.
Oh my gosh.
Varney, right? Ed Varney, the actor's name that played Ernest.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know the guy. It's like it's got a funny.
I
face.
remember my first. I don't remember the movie, but I remember my first time seeing him in something else. I was just like, wow, like because he just stayed in that character for all those movies, and I saw him in something semi-serious, I think, and it was just a completely different person.
Jim Varney. Jim Varney was
Jim Varney. Okay.
Yes. Yep, I would agree with that. Those were just awful.
All right, so let's talk about. I want to talk about some controversial ones. These are the ones that people debate on whether or not they're Christmas movies. So let's talk. We can talk about whether or not they're good movies, but are they Christmas movies? The first one we've already mentioned it, Home Alone. Is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah, I'd say it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Christmas plays a central role in the movie. The parents are going away for Christmas holiday, so I would call that a Christmas movie.
Okay. And I think so too. The whole thing is about them getting home for Christmas, which
Right,
is like
right.
the basis of like every Christmas movie. So,
Coming home.
all right. How about Gremlins?
I can't comment because I've never seen that movie.
Oh, that's number one on your to-do list.
Oh,
You gotta check out Gremlins.
I don't think it's really a Christmas movie.
I think it's a movie you can watch any time of the year.
Sure, definitely. It's like a family movie because we grew up watching it, so it makes sense to watch it during Christmas because all your siblings are in or whatever, and it's reminiscent of childhood or whatever. But it's not really a Christmas movie. It's more
I
like
think it's a movie that happens to take place around Christmas time.
right.
and this is the movie where you don't want to get them wet. Is that right? I mean,
Or feed
I know
after midnight. Yep.
Yeah, Gizmo. There's like this little cute gremlin, and then he gets wet, and then all this hell breaks loose. The bad gremlins come out with their teeth and their ears, and the kids have to fight them, and then they accidentally pour more water on them, and
So
my youngest loves it.
There was a talking toy that came out 30 years ago, I think, called a Furby. Is that kind of what it's based on?
Gizmo it looks like a Furby. Yep.
I cannot have one of those things in my house. They're just freaking creepy.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
Did we talk about top favorite Christmas movies?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Okay.
But I want to talk Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No, but I love that movie.
So good.
I love all.
It's one of those movies where I'm like, yeah, if it's a Christmas movie, if we can watch it in December, sure.
Right.
It is a Christmas movie. It is. It's about coming home too. Staying with Trent's
theme. That's a very good
theme.
point.
Yeah. Just trying to make it home to Christmas, and stuff gets thrown in his lap at every stage, and he has to kill people, but the goal is still the same: trying to get home.
Yeah. It's a movie that a guy can sit down and enjoy. It's not going to be a Christmas Prince.
Right.
And it's a 30 or 40-year-old Bruce Willis. He still had his hair, and it was great.
And Alan Rickman, one of the best character actors of our lifetimes. He was just phenomenal. He was phenomenal in everything he did.
He plays a great evil guy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, maybe my favorite
that
role
crazy
of Alan.
look on his eyes.
He's just fantastic. Have you guys seen the movie Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck? It's a fantastic movie, and Alan Rickman plays basically a Western version of his character in Die Hard. It's really, really good.
You said Alan Rickman. Is that his name? The guy who plays the evil guy?
Yeah.
That scene, when he falls, that famous scene.
Yes.
When he's falling to his death. That one, they actually dropped him. They were going to count to 3, and they dropped him at 1 to get a genuine facial. When he's dropping, they did it on purpose. They were going to count to 3 and then drop him, and they dropped him at 1.
That's a fantastic bit of trivia,
and not something you could do today. I don't think.
Right. I don't know if you saw me post on Instagram last week, but a friend of mine has a Die Hard Christmas or a Die Hard Advent calendar, and each day Rickman drops one story down the tower until he hits the bottom.
That's awesome.
Does it say yippee-ki-yay at the bottom?
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
All right, last
yippee-ki-yay
one
on the 24th,
the...
probably. That's where it says yippee-ki-yay.
Last one on the debatable ones: Trading Places.
Ooh, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte, right?
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Dan Aykroyd, yeah.
Great movie. It's a great movie if you're wanting to watch a Christmas movie and you're just wanting to watch a good movie. I think that's a great one along with Die Hard.
Yes.
Oh yeah, good point.
Hilarious.
I don't think of it as a Christmas movie though.
I don't either.
It's
I just think of it as a good movie that happens to take place around Christmas time.
exactly. Yeah,
It is kind of a Christmas movie though. Like the vibe, the whole vibe. It's snowing the whole time. It's the giving, you know, like
Layoffs
giving or
around
not
Christmas
giving.
time.
The rich and the poor, the givers and the non-givers, and all of that. I don't know. It's just it gives me like a what is it? A bah humbug vibe, like what's Ebenezer.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Christmas Carol.
Ebenezer or something.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah,
Carol.
Scrooge. There you go. It gives me that kind of vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's rich and everything, but he's not a giver, and there's like a change of, you know, things are flipped around.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I could give it to either side, really.
Right. I would agree. That's a great point. Mahmood obviously digs deeper in these movies than
he does.
Do.
You've put some of these movies into like a different context here. I can't wait till we go over our favorites.
So Mahmood,
I know for someone who grew up in Africa up to the age of 22, I know my Christmas stuff, huh?
You need to start a movie.
Yeah, my first Christmas ever was at the age of 22 for me. Just so you guys know.
No kidding.
So you had to really catch up on the movies.
Oh yeah. I mean, growing up, I did watch Cartoon Network, so there was a little bit of, you know, it was peppered with all the Christmas stuff. So I got loaded as a kid. I got, you know, all the Christmas luggage, but my actual experience was here after I was an adult, going through the Christmas thing, like the whole. Because Christmas really is not a big thing elsewhere. Yeah, you exchange gifts and everything, but in the U.S. it's huge. It's a big deal compared to Europe and other countries.
So was it kind of overkill? Was it kind of overwhelming for you, your first one?
No, it was amazing, actually. It was like...
that is so awesome.
Because, yeah, I was 22, but I felt like a 6-year-old. Because it was my first time ever. Like, you don't... Right? Like unwrapping the presents and everything. Yeah, I was a full adult acting like a 6-year-old.
That's pretty much my life.
But yeah, it is when you first experience it. Think about like if you go and celebrate, you know, the Chinese New Year for the first time.
Right.
You know what the Chinese New Year is, but if you go and like, you know, celebrate it in China, like it's gonna be overload. That's what I felt the first time.
That's fascinating to me.
All right, yeah. Let's start now with Mahmood. I want to know 4 to 5 favorites. Give us your 4 to 5 favorites.
Well, I have a really favorite, like a real that number one. Now, hold on, let me see if I have a top 4. Well, Die Hard, obviously, because I consider them Christmas movies, so I like all those Die Hard movies. Because I like action, and that's like a good mix for me. And if you notice, you know, I like that movie because Bruce Willis gets the crap kicked out of him. It's not like Home Alone. You get my point here?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's gonna win at the end, but there's a crucible,
right,
that he has to go through. I don't have anything against the kid, you know. I like kids, but that movie was not fair. Home Alone was not fair. Definitely.
How much of that movie would have been different if Kevin just got the crap beaten out of him for like a good 5 minutes?
And then came back. Like maybe, yeah, they got him good, and then he went and, you know, trained for 24 hours and got really muscular and came back and beat everyone. Yes, I would have loved that movie. But he just kept beating them the whole time and burning their hair and.
I cannot get out of my brain that is essentially a 90-minute Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote episode.
I'm sorry for doing that to you, Rick.
Oh no, it's fantastic. It is fantastic.
Yeah, It's not fair. The script is not fair. So Bruce Willis is awesome. Top number one Christmas movie for me. Elf. Because
it's the first movie I saw twice in the theaters.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
I've never seen it in theaters. I didn't see it for the first time until maybe I was 17 or 18 or something like that. But that movie is probably the most well-written movie I have ever watched. Like just who's the guy who directed it from Swingers?
I can see his face, but I forget his name. Yeah.
Jon Favreau. He
Yeah.
plays the doctor in Elf.
Uh-huh.
He's the guy who does the DNA thing.
Uh-huh.
He did a fantastic. When I realized he directed it and created it, I was, Jon Favreau. He's awesome.
It's always our first movie every year.
Right. Yeah.
We're
Yeah. I've
cutting
already
up the
watched
tree.
it 3 times. Like in November. I'm probably gonna watch it another 3 or 4 times in December because it's just an amazing. And whenever it's on, I just sit down and watch it.
Nice.
Let's see. So top 4, we said.
Give us like 4 to 6.
Okay.
You've given us 2.
Okay. The other 2 I really like are fairly new. They're Netflix originals, and they're called The Christmas Chronicles.
I haven't seen it.
And they are awesome because they are, first of all, not stuck back in the 90s. You know how the most classics are long gone in the 90s? This one takes place in, the 2019, 2020. And it's got all the references from today. So it's a little highbrow humor when you're watching it. Your kid is getting the surface meaning, and you're getting all the other stuff that your kids can't figure out. So that's
all the innuendo.
Exactly. Yes. And you know who it's got in it? Goldie Hawn's husband.
Oh, Kurt Russell.
Thank you. Kurt Russell is Santa.
Okay.
And he did 2 of them. Christmas Chronicles 1, 2019, and then 2020 they did 2. I strongly recommend you guys watch that because the references are awesome. It's like it's going to refresh your Christmas movie category. It's going to give it a breath of fresh air.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Yep. So it goes. Bruce Willis, Die Hard has number 4, or maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the Die Hard movies, and then you got the Christmas Chronicles. Those are really, really good. Maybe I'll get sick of them, but they're still awesome. And even the cinematography and everything is from today, not from the 90s. So it's really entertaining, especially if you have a big screen. Make everything dark and watch those movies. They're pretty magical. And then number 1, Elf.
Nice. All right, Rick, you're up.
Oh my gosh, this will be a tough one. So I'm going to agree with Mahmoud. Number 1, certainly Elf. And the thing is, I resisted watching that movie because Will Ferrell makes me a little crazy.
In a lot of his movies, he's like a little too goofy.
He is just over the top, But in this movie, he was kind of sure he had his over the top moments, but I feel like there was a lot of emotion in this movie. It wasn't just cheap laughs like a lot of his movies are. Excuse me. And then when I found out Bob Newhart was in it, first time I watched it, I was sold because he's one of my all-time favorites. But I
loved Bob Newhart in that.
Oh my gosh, he is so good in that movie. And I didn't see that movie until 2, maybe 3 years ago. I've never seen it. And we were over at our sister and brother-in-law's for Christmas, and they put it on, and I'm like, why have I resisted watching this? Fabulous, really, really fabulous movie.
I think underappreciated in that movie is his name James Caan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
He's really
actor.
good.
He is great in that movie. So that would far and away be number 1, but kind of a close number 2 would be A Christmas Story. I'm surprised nobody has mentioned that yet, but I love everything about that movie. And as a matter of fact, we went up to Cleveland a few years ago and toured the Christmas Story house, which has been turned into a museum. Got to see all the props and everything, and they've got the cars there from the movie. But I love Darren McGavin's role as the father. Peter Billingsley kind of stole that movie as the boy. I can't recall his name right now, the character's name. Ralph, right?
Yeah, Ralphie. Yeah.
Ralphie. But Darren McGavin is was such an underrated actor, and I love in that movie how he plays this, grumpy old man, but he gets that god awful hideous leg lamp, and he turns into a 6-year-old kid. I love that moment in that movie. I think it's just fantastic. I would throw a couple of classics in. It's a Wonderful Life, original version with Jimmy Stewart. Holly and I actually got to do that with a group of other actors in a form of an old-timey radio play 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it was so much fun to, have to come up with different voices for the different characters. And it was great. It was fantastic. And I'll round out my top 4 with Scrooge, the retelling of A Christmas Carol. And of course, that's been made dozens, if not more, of times. But the Bill Murray version,
oh yes,
is fantastic. I love his portrayal. Bill Murray is a really, he's hugely popular, but I think he's underrated as an actor because we think of all of his great comedic roles like Stripes and all those, really, really funny movies. But he's got some great serious movies too, like Lost in Translation, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I think Bill Murray really captures the spirit really, really well. And when I heard Bill Murray was remaking that movie, I did not hold out much hope for it, but I think it's really, really fantastic.
And he's kind of developed over the last 2 years a really cult following.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like it took people a long time to appreciate his work.
Right. He and Steve Martin really successfully broke the mold of Saturday Night Live actors because you think about Bill Murray, who had the classic skits like Nick the Lounge Singer and all those, and Steve Martin had, the 2 Wild and Crazy Guys and everything he did. But then they came out with these wonderfully touching and serious movies. It really shows both of their range, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love pretty much anything Bill Murray touches. And
I agree.
Like while we're on SNL alum, I think someone who's really underrated, and I love the subtlety of his comedy, and that's David Spade.
Oh, yes.
The guy can be such a jerk, but he's so subtle about it. It's hilarious.
He's great. He was in that. There was a TV series about a modeling agency with Wendy Malick. Just Shoot Me. I don't know if you guys have seen that series. He's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was this show called Ridiculousness where they watch clips on the internet. And they have guests on every single week. And usually the guest is the worst part of the show. And so they usually seem uninterested. They're missing punchlines, And usually when it's just the regular host, that's when the show is at its best. But the week David Spade was on, it was their best show ever. So that tells you a lot about his abilities, that he can just walk in one week and make it their best show.
And what's the name of that show again, Trent? I want to write that down.
It's called Ridiculousness.
It's like America's funniest home video type.
With an adult version of AFE.
Awesome.
All right, so is that yours, Rick?
That's mine.
All right, so you all have mentioned some of mine already. Elf and Scrooged are both on my list. For sure. Love those movies. Like I said, Elf is the first movie I watched twice in the movie theaters. Christmas Vacation is way up there. I don't even know, like, depending on which week it is it's one or two. Like,
National Lampoon?
yeah, Christmas Vacation. Oh, I love that movie.
Chevy
The
Chase.
lights and all that, and just like it really kind of encapsulates like the stress of like the holidays. One,
Is it
my
is it the
wife.
scene where they're coming from like he loads up the car and then pulls out of the garage
Yes.
and all the luggage is like all over the place? That's it, right?
That's their normal vacation.
Normal vacation, and then there's
Yeah,
Christmas
they
vacation.
Christmas Vacation movie where all the family comes into their house.
That's where Cousin
Yes.
Eddie shows up in his RV, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And he gets a check. They're all excited about. Is that the one?
Yeah,
And
his
it turns
Christmas
out to be
bonus.
like
And he chops down a tree that's way too big for his house, and a squirrel gets loose, and that's one that like Eric Fee watches like 10 times a year, and I probably watch it 2 to 3. It's a great movie, and one like if you haven't watched it in a while, watch it this week. So Scrooged, Elf, Christmas Vacation, Die Hard, of course. One my wife and I watch together every single year when after the kids are asleep is Bad Santa.
Oh my God.
That is a riot from start to finish.
Is
Like
that Billy Bob Thornton?
yes.
Hold on, you watch it with the kids?
No, I said once the kids are
Okay.
in bed.
Okay.
No,
Good.
no. We watch a lot of things with the kids, but that's not one of them.
Oh my God. Yeah, that one. First, I wouldn't call it a Christmas movie. It's a me movie, just me.
Oh, I would 100% call it a Christmas movie, but what I love about that movie is there's no. I mean, there are some feel good moments, but you like that's not the theme of the movie. Like the movie is meant to be a comedy.
A lot of shock value too. Like yeah.
Yeah, that's one we watch every single year. And my top, and this is the one that just makes it feel like Christmas to me. And that is the very old Reginald Owen version of A Christmas Carol. That is the one my kids and my wife and I read A Christmas Carol every December. That's like kind of a tradition the four of us had since they've been born, since my daughter was 2 months old. And then we watched that old. My dad got me hooked on that movie when I was a kid.
1938.
Yeah, Reginald Owen, A Christmas Carol. That is a movie that we watch every single Christmas Eve, and that's when it starts to really feel like Christmas.
That is a classic. Oh my gosh, Reginald Owen.
Have you seen it, Mahmood?
No, I have not.
It is well worth a watch. And I really love the cinematography in that particular movie. For a movie that's 85 or so years old, just incredible.
Yeah, it looks pretty clean.
It used to, it was one of those like Rudolph that like Clockwork would come on every year. And then it started to become harder and harder to find it. And so my wife got me the DVD. And now it's on streaming platforms also. But
awesome.
So now we know for sure we're going to be able to watch it every single Christmas Eve.
That's awesome. That's a great tradition.
Thank you. I can't put that movie over enough. It's the start of, okay, it feels like Christmas now.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, I read the book and everything, but I've never seen that particular version of the movie.
He plays the grumpy guy real well. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on.
It's been great fun. I've loved this discussion about our favorite and non-favorite Christmas movies. And for all of you out there, if you have never seen the Star Wars Christmas special, you owe it to yourself to watch it this year sometime.
Leave us a comment if we didn't discuss yours. Like we didn't discuss a lot of the classics, Miracle on 34th Street, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Of course, Jim Carrey destroyed that one. But if you have one we didn't talk about, let us know. All right. Thanks, guys.
We'll see ya.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Oh, man, that was